Hello, Mazzy here. I want to showcase 10 terrible records by bands I love, by artists I love. This was a video inspired by my friend Todd, Lost Mixtapes. He has a channel. Please link below. There's a link below. Please check and subscribe to him because he does some cool stuff. He's got has good musical taste. So we were having dinner tonight, him and our mutual friend, the archivist, and this came up, and he challenged me to do this video, but I don't think he's made this video. So, Todd, I'm challenging you back and some people I know to do. Maybe this can be a thread of people emulating, and it's probably been done before. So nothing is original. So before you accuse me of that was my idea, Mazzy, 10 records that I think are terrible records by these artists. You know, one might ask them, why do you have these records in your collection? Because I love these artists. And you're going to probably, there's always someone who loves a record. There's records I like that are considered terrible records by artists, but no particular order. We're going to start with the Beach Boys. 15 big ones. First of all, that title alone, 15 big ones. Look at this. What is this, the Olympics? Jesus Christ. With all due respects, I'm sorry for the loss of Brian Wilson's wife, and it looks like Brian Wilson's going to be passed in a conservatorship, which is really sad. I mean, once his wife was gone, we knew something was happening. But I remember this record came out when I was working in a record store. Was it 73 or 4? Oh, 76, that late. Now, you could do that other one with the checkerboard cover, too, but this is cover shit, and this is terrible. I mean, there's no life to these songs. They do rock and roll music. Just give me some of that rock and roll. And you got the Wilson brothers. Look, you got the three main Wilson brothers. You got cousin Leppo, the wacky cousin, and then okay. It has Palisades Park, that old rocker, Blueberry Hill. Oh, God. It's terrible. But I have it. So, there you go. All right. Of course, I love the Beatles, but come on. Paul McCartney. Give my regards to Broad Street. This is the worst movie. I mean, everyone thought Magic Mystery Tour was bad. Magic Mystery Tour is basically Citizen Kane compared to Give My Regards to Broad Street. A self-indulgent film about stealing the master tapes. Oh my God, he's got good actors in it, playing shitty roles. Paul doesn't act very well with this. Now, George Martin came in, Ringo came in, George Martin produced this, and Paul recreates some of his songs, like ethereal, dreamy versions of Eleanor Rigby, and songs that he's done. Now, the best thing on this, seriously, is No More Lonely Nights. There's a ballad version and there's a play-out version with a great guitar solo by David Gilmour of Pink Floyd. That is great. That's the best part of this record. Now, it's fun to hear Good Day Sunshine and corridor music, like incidental music from the film. An updated version of Yesterday, Here, There, and Everywhere. Wanderlust. I like the songs, but go to the originals. Ballroom Dancing, Silly Love Songs again? Really? Okay. And there's a reprise of Silly Love Songs. Not Such a Bad Boy. No, okay, you get the picture. There's like 3 versions of No More Lonely Nights here, but terrible film, like a shit-ass record of Paul McCartney. And I'm all in on Paul McCartney, but give my regards to Broad Street. Terrible record. Face Dances by The Who. I could have heard, what is it? I could have selected, was it Hard Promises, Hard fucking something, Pete Townsen. But the best part of this is the cover art. All these various artists, including, I used to know all the names of the artists here. Peter Blake, who did Sgt. Pepper, is one of these. Which one is he? That one? I forgot that one. And you got great art. What amazing cover. But the trouble is, there's not even a friggin' song called Face Dances. Face Dances is a great song, and Pete Townsen saves it for his solo records. This is the period of time where Pete Townsen still wrote incredible songs. I grant you that. And I love Pete Townsen. but he kept the great songs for his solo records. And like, really, these are like the B, C team of records of songs, actually. Oh, here are the illustrators. The best thing about it, again, illustrators. Tom Phillips, Colin Self, Richard Hamilton. Richard Hamilton did the Beatles' White Album cover. Let's see who else. David Hockney, of course, David Hockney. I love him. Clive Barker, that kind of the dark side of illustration, but wonderful. Peter Blake and several others. But that's the best. The music is terrible. There's a couple okay things on here, but come on. Pete Townsen records were better around this period of time. Talented, but forget about it. Now, a lot of people like to dump on the theatrical period of the Kinks, the RCA years. One of my top 3 favorite bands ever. I love soap opera. I love Schoolboys in Disgrace. I love those. They're a great, Ducks on the Wall. That is fantastic. When I turn out the living room lights, that period of the Kinks is great. But they finally signed to Columbia, and their final record, really, I mean, they did the thing later with at Kinks Studio, whatever it's called, Kingston, Kinkstown, King Kong, whatever it's called. They did that record that's somewhat live. It's actually really good. It came out on CD only at this point. But Phobia, what a piece of crap, this thing. I can't even name a song on it by heart. Phobia, Only a Dream. I don't know what happened here. I mean, this is a friggin' heavy double record. Look at that. Give me a break. The Davis Brothers. What is that, a poster? Anyway, I mean, terrible record. I'm not going to even get into it. Phobia. I'm allergic to this record. It's literally a phobia. Now, for this next band, one of my favorites of the San Francisco band. I got 2 San Francisco bands here in this video. And of course, the Grateful Dead. And probably their worst album ever, their worst live album at least, is Dylan and the Dead. I only have it on CD. I don't have a vinyl version of it. It's terrible. I mean, Bob Dylan, the Grateful Dead. How can you fuck up so much? Now, but Shakedown Street, really? I mean, this was produced by Lowell George of Little Feat. This should have been amazing. But they do Good Lovin'. Really, I mean, Dead are like, it's like Good Lovin' on slow motion, in a way. That's a great, great song. Good Lovin'. Oh, what a great song. And even Staggeredly, Shakedown Street, Fire on Mountain. I mean, someone's going to say there's a couple good tracks on here, but not really. I mean, not really, really not really. And terrible cover. I don't know. It's almost like a faux R. Crumb record. Who did the cover? It looks like it's R. Crumb-esque. Who did the cover here? I have to look inside here. Anyway, I don't know. But not very good. The final album by the Jefferson Airplane, As There's an Airplane. Of course, they did that. Oh, I don't even have the Columbia Reformation. That would have been worse. That's worse than this. They did an album, like a reunion album. Was that in the 80s or 70s? I think later in the 70s or later 70s, I guess. That album on Columbia, which is terrible. It's like shaking up LA. I mean, even as much as I don't like Jefferson Starship after Red Octopus or Dragonfly, that period, that got to be kind of really terrible. I love Jefferson Airplane. They were the best of the San Francisco live band live from 67 to 69. Better than the Dead, better than Movie Great, better than Big Brother. They were the bomb. The best thing about this also is the cover art, because you could fold this out. There's the instructions into a stash box with, and this is of course before marijuana was legal in certain states, not Alabama and not many other states, but the states that I live on the West Coast, it's legal. There's a couple of decent songs on here, but is this one Papa John Creech, kind of jumped in and stuff? The album before this, Bark, is actually really good. That's one that grew on me that I wasn't quite sure at the beginning, but that has some good songs on it. This is like Long John Silver, Milk Train, Son of Jesus. I didn't know he had a son. Did I? Did we know that? I don't know. Eat Starch Mom. Great names of song. Easter, question mark. So there's some religious, iconic imagery in their songwriting here. But Long John Silver, there you go. Now, one of my favorite British bands that doesn't always get a lot of love, of course, the biggest song ever played up to this point in England on jukeboxes and on radio is Whiter Shade of Pale, Procol Harum. Procol Harum's ninth album. I mean, there's like a few moments on this, but how did this go wrong? Was this 1975? This is produced by Lieber and Stoller, those great rock and roll writers, and they take Procol Harum in 1975, and they make this album called Procol Harum's Ninth. It ain't good. I mean, I love Gary Brooker. I mean, to me, one of the great 60s, 70s blue-eyed soul singers. This is long after Robin Trower left the band. Who is in this band? You got people that no one even knows about. Although you got B.J. Wilson. B.J. Wilson is a friggin' great drummer. If you listen to his drumming on Conquistador on the Live at Edmonton album, on that song, oh my God, the guy's great, and he's still in the band here. But everyone else is pretty new. Keith Reid is the lyricist, like Elton John with Bernie Taupin. He wrote lyrics, but not very good, really. And I have it, but Procol Harum with Lieber and Stoller, some of the great, rock and roll songwriters, producers ever, but they just didn't work out right. Now, one of my favorite bands, which is a Canadian-American hybrid, one American, all Canadians. Of course, they were the Hawks. They backed Bob Dylan. That was the band. And their final album, promo copy from Capitol Records, is Islands. Now, there are a couple of good songs here. Right as Rain, a Robbie Robertson song. I mean, he wrote most of the songs. That's why everyone hates them, because they got all the publishing. I like Right as Rain. And what I do love on here, Christmas Must Be Tonight. It's a great Christmas song. Wonderful on here. They cover Georgia on My Mind. But the rest of the album is kind of subpar for the band. And I like pretty much everything. And some people don't like their that covers record, the oldies record. But I quite like that. But I would say this isn't a horrible record, but it's not a great record. And for a band literally calling themselves the band that's so good, this should have been better. But the band is not. Some wanker's gonna say, "Why do you throw your records like that?" They lie flat. They're fine. Records, people baby their records too much. Okay, Bob Dylan. I mean, I was thinking of, it's funny. Some people say Self-Portrait. I love Self-Portrait. I loved it from the beginning. And there's that famous review Greil Marcus wrote in Rolling Stones, like basically, "What the fuck is this?" I love that record, and I got a reevaluation during the bootleg series records, and there's some great stuff on that. Some people say Down the Groove, but I think that has Silvio on it. But I think the second album in his Jesus Christian period, Saved, is terrible. First of all, these people used to ring my door until I put the no solicitor sign on, selling me this stuff. If you're in religion, you believe in, whether you believe in Jesus or Buddha or Krishna, whoever, all fine. Don't sell me. Don't knock on my door selling me this shit. And Dylan kind of went through a 3-year period of born-againism. And I saw 3 of the nights of that tour. The first night at the Warfield on Market Street in San Francisco, nobody knew he wasn't going to do any of his hits and no secular music, just Jesus Christian born-again music. I love the first record he did, Slow Train Coming. I love that. Some reason this just didn't click. Although when they did the bootleg series again, the live stuff, when they gelled later on the tour, it was amazing. I actually like the show. I like the show of this period. But for some reason, I mean, this record's terrible from my point. I could have picked Shot of Love, the one after this. That's equally as terrible. There's a song here and there. Solid Rock, Satisfying Mind, maybe Saved. I don't know. And this cover, I'm sorry, this is like the Lighthouse brochure they hand out. Now, if you're into the Lighthouse, I don't disparage your religion, all the power, but don't friggin' sell me or anyone else, I don't knock on your door selling my beliefs. Don't knock on my door selling your beliefs. Bob Dylan. Now, lastly, oh, this is last. Okay. You know, I was thinking about this because there was another, anyway, Fleetwood Mac, Tango in the Night. The one after this, what's the one called? That's the one I kind of thought I hated, but I hate this more. Now, I love Little Lies. It's a twee pop song, great single. But this has too much of that 80s flourish, even though this is, 1987. You know, Little Lies, oh, there's a Big Love, Little Lies, Little Lies. I just think this is like, you know, it suffers from the 80s production style. Oh, God. This is produced by Lindsey Buckingham and Richard Dashett. I don't even know who that is anymore. Big shoulder period of Fleetwood Mac, of everyone. I had big shoulder pads at that point, too. So, you know, look at, oh, I totally big shoulder pads. What the fuck was that about? Tango the Night, you know, it's not a bad album. It just, again, there's certain how come the 1980s is the only decade that suffers from those tinkling electronic piano things and percussion, and certain bands got away from it and didn't do it. REM didn't do it. The Smiths didn't do it. So there's good music came out of it, but a lot of bands from the 60s and 70s suffered from 1980s production. This is one of them. So Fleetwood Mac, Tango in the Night. So that's it. Thank you, Todd. Link below. Please go to that channel and just subscribe. Even if you don't ever watch one of his videos, subscribe to it. But it was kind of a cool concept, you know, 10 records that I hate, or terrible records from bands that I love. Anyway, thanks for watching. Mazzy loves you. Take care, everyone.